Welcome to Imperfect TV, where we embrace the messy, the real, and the beautifully unfinished. I'm Gemma Blythe, and this is your Monday morning guided journaling session, your space to breathe, reset, and begin the week with intention. Mondays can feel overwhelming, but they also hold a quiet power, a fresh start, a chance to realign with what truly matters. So, before the emails, the to-do lists, and the noise of the day take over, let's pause together. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's start this morning by checking in with ourselves. You don't have to get it perfect, just honest. Let your thoughts flow without judgment. This is your time, your space, your moment to be fully present with yourself. So grab your journal, settle in, and let's write. I'll be here with you, guiding you along the way. Because growth isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, even on the messy Mondays. Morning, everybody. How are we doing? So this morning is the first segment of the healing and recovery section of this journaling series. So if you've been following me right from the start, we've gone from processing, healing, and now we're coming out the other side. So if this is your first time, hi, please stick around, because there's so much in this section that can benefit you as well. But if you haven't seen any of the others, please take the time to do yourself a favor and go and watch them and take part in your healing process, because we do this together here on Imperfect TV Network. So it's all about the healing on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level today. So it's healing within. Because a lot of the times when we think about healing from trauma, we just think about healing on an emotional level. But this morning we're taking that on more of a physical level as well. So then when we heal the trauma that is not only in our heads, but that has been stored up within our bodies as well, because so much of trauma is within us and we don't even realize. That's the shocking thing. We go through all of this and then we go to therapy and everything else and think that we've conquered the mental health part of it. But then there's so much more within our physical bodies as well. So it's that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at physical levels, emotional levels, and visiting spiritual healing as well. And then putting all that together. So physical, emotional, and spiritual. All of that, as usual, is going to be within 4 journaling prompts that I will take you through. And we'll go away, journal, come back together again, and I'll share some final reflections with you and other things that you can consider when you come back to doing this by yourself later on. Of course, you can have this on in the background if you so wish, to remind you of all the things to cover. So I will play you a little journaling video now to get yourself grounded. Take a few deep breaths, grab a pen if you haven't already, and let's go after this video. So, hey, let's jump straight in to our first journaling prompt this morning. So, the first one then is, what does healing look like for you on a physical level? So, reflect on how you envision your body healing physically after trauma. Are there any specific activities, practices that would help you feel more connected to your body, such as yoga, exercise, nutrition, rest? If you're feeling brave enough, you might want to add meditation in there, maybe going out for a morning walk, because sometimes when we're walking or doing anything on a physical level, especially if we're on our own, we can start to connect with our bodies and start to analyze what feels right and what doesn't. We know ourselves better than anybody else knows us. So, whether that's going out for a walk and with each step you're setting an intention, whether that's waking up every morning and the first thing you drink is water. Think about how you can improve things physically for yourself after trauma. Because another thing that we tend to do after trauma is think we're not worthy enough. So our physical care for ourselves goes out of the window. Our mental health care for ourselves goes out of the window. So, how can you reverse this today? How can we reverse this together? So, take your time to write down anything that might help you physically heal, and anything that you would like to feel during the healing process within your body. Okay, so I'm going to give you just over a minute to do this one, and then we'll come together and I will share some more reflections with you on this. So, hopefully, as you move on with your journaling practice today, you continue to reflect on what physical healing means to you and what steps you can take to heal physically. I'm not saying that you wake up one morning and you decide to jump in all at once. To say, I'm going to drink a glass of water this morning, I'm going to meditate this morning, I'm going to go out and take a walk, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to do yoga, I'm going to rest, I'm going to concentrate on nutrition. Can you see how overwhelming that would be for anybody? What I'm saying is we can build this up. So take drinking a glass of water in the morning, right? Say you do that for a week. Then after that week, let's say you drank a glass of water in the morning and you did some yoga. Yes, it's slower, but it's not half as overwhelming, meaning that you are less likely to slip back to where you were. So, this is my recommendation to you. Anything we go through this morning when it comes to healing physically, emotionally, spiritually, we build up on it. We take one habit a week and then we increase that to 2 habits for 2 weeks. Do you see where I'm going with this? So it's not overwhelming. It's not dragging you down in any way, shape, or form. I tried it the hard way. It backfired. It always backfired. So, what I'm saying to you is take one habit a week, build it up to 2 for 2 weeks, build it up for 3 for 3 weeks. Healing isn't linear, neither should you expect your recovery to be. So, start creating step by step of what you want to do and build upon it. Do not expect yourself to do everything all in one go. Okay, so let's move on now to the next one. Here we go. So, very similar than this one, but for emotional healing. So, what does emotional healing look like for you, and what would it take to feel emotionally whole again? So, for this one, think about the emotional healing you need. Do you wish to experience less anxiety, sadness, or anger? Perhaps you want to feel more happiness, more peace, or more self compassion because you're worthy of feeling all those things. And the thing is, there's so much shame around women feeling anger and feeling bitter. But let me tell you, I used to think like that. I used to think, why is this happening to me? Why are they okay when I'm going through this? Why can't anybody understand? That used to be going round in my head constantly. But this goes back to something my therapist said to me. He said, "You are okay to feel anger for what was done to you." And since then, I've taken the anger, I've turned it round, and my God, I'm using it in my work at the moment. So use these feelings to your advantage. Do not think that because you're a woman, you can't feel these things because you can. So when it comes to feeling emotionally whole again, you can feel disassociated after trauma. You can feel as though that happened to somebody else, not to you. And you can feel numb because of that. It can leave you with a strange sense of not knowing who you are and not knowing yourself. So take this time to think on what emotional balance and peace would look like for you. And then we'll come back together and I'll share some more reflection on that. So take this time now. So, what would emotional balance and peace look like to you? How would you feel if you removed all of the negative emotions that you feel at the moment? What would it look like for you to release those? And then to invite more positive emotions into your life. So, this is all about how you can make the right emotional shifts for you. So, for example, you might think about how creating emotional shifts, you could create more joy in your own life. You could create more peace in your own life. What's one common thing I've said there? You. Because you have the control to do this. There's something very, very simple that I am going to recommend you do. Write yourself a joy list. Write yourself a list of things which you know brings you joy. Whether that's listening to your favorite, I nearly said movie, music, watching your favorite movie, seeing your friends, maybe it's mixing with family, maybe it's taking the time out to go for coffee. You are in charge of all of that if you choose to be. So that's what I recommend you do, in addition to this one. And then you can keep moving towards the positive emotional shifts because you're doing something for you. You're taking the time for yourself to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put in some healthy practices to heal. I'm going to make an effort in creating that emotional shift that I need. This is all down to you and is within your grasp. So, as we move on to the next one is all about spiritual healing. I'm going to put that up for you now. So, how do you envision spiritual healing? And what practices or beliefs might help you reconnect to your sense of purpose, or inner peace? So, for this one, I want you to consider your spiritual journey in healing. Whether you have one or not isn't particularly relevant at the moment. Okay, this is all about looking at the different practices that are available to you, which you might find useful. This is for you whether you identify with a specific religion, practice mindfulness, or find connection through nature or creativity. And it's all about looking at what spiritual healing means to you. So, for this one, I encourage you to start a discussion in the comments. Let's get some comments going around this one because it's so interesting to find what people find useful during this one. Because spiritual healing can mean so many things. It could mean taking a walk in nature. It could mean taking the time to meditate in the morning or whenever you feel the need during the day. It could mean practicing gratitude for all the things that you're grateful for within this moment. So take the time now to sit reflect, and see out of those things that I've mentioned, which ones appeal to you the most. Then we'll come back together and I'll share some more reflection. Here we go. So, what did you come up with? What did you find the most yourself most drawn to? Was it being out in nature, practicing mindfulness, maybe meditating to a certain extent? Spiritual healing doesn't always mean religion. Spiritual healing means connecting with yourself on a deeper level, and it means sometimes the need to connect with something higher than you. So it's normal to sometimes feel the need to connect to our higher power, find a sense of purpose, or you can use spirituality to trust yourself more fully, to learn to follow and abide by your gut feelings about things. How many times have you ignored a gut feeling, simply passing it off as a thought that you had about somebody or something? And then how much later on do you wish that you'd listened to that gut feeling? So when you come back to this one, reflect on how spirituality can support your healing process. And then think about what spiritual practices you can use to nurture yourself as part of your recovery. These things are all incredibly important because they create the basis of not only your physical health, but your mental health as well, both of which are incredibly important. So, let's move on to prompt 4 this morning. Please feel free to share anything in the comments as we go, as this is your session, your time. If you have any questions during this, please share them in the comments. And share this with your friends as well. I said it last week, so I'll say it again this week. The only reason I am doing this is to help you, help trauma survivors like you. I don't care if one person sees it, but if that one person sees it and shares it to 19 people, then that's 20 people I'll have helped, which is all I care about. So, to finish off, let's look at point 4. So, how can you integrate physical, emotional, and spiritual healing to create a balanced and holistic approach to your recovery? Okay, so very often we tend to look at recovery as sometimes being medicated, which I want to tell you is absolutely fine. Again, it might work for somebody and not for somebody else, which is absolutely fine. Somebody's healing does not have to mirror anybody else's. But this, connecting emotionally, physically, spiritually, helps you to heal on your own, so you have more control over what you do and how you feel. I agree with needing whatever you need in this moment, because it's whatever you need that will help you pull through, and it will help you to heal. So, this one is used to reflect on how your spiritual, physical, and emotional healing are all interconnected, and how you can integrate them all into a balanced recovery process. So, if you find that nurturing one helps the other, that wouldn't be surprising. So maybe take this time to write down some ideas of what you could do. But remember to integrate what I said to you earlier. If you try to take on too much now and pile it up one on top of the other straight away, it can crumble. The only way that you can do it is in stages, step by step by step, and small steps. I'm not saying anything huge. So take one habit, whether that's drink your water first thing in the morning, and then layer it with another habit the week after. Once you've solidified one habit, then you can move on to the second. And keep going like that. I know it takes longer, but the results will far outweigh the negatives of this. So I will give you just over a minute again to go away and journal, and then we'll come back and I'll share some final reflections with you, as well as recap what we've done today. So here we go. Okay, so what did you come up with? What plans did you put in place? And another thing that I want you to look at when you come back to this is, what does your life look like when you put all this into practice? What do you envision your life looking like? And you can start it off by saying, my life looks like. Because we're not doing this in the present tense. We're doing this as if you've put all of this into practice. And then what do you imagine your life looking like then? So I want to say thank you so much for joining me this Monday morning again. It has been so incredible to share all these 4 journaling points with you and to move on to the healing and recovery section of Monday's guided journaling series. So please share this with your friends, as I've already said. Share it with 19 of your friends and ask them to share it. And note down one thing in the comments that you got from this today. And I will see you next Monday morning, bright and early, the same time of 7 a.m. Sending you all so much love and light for the coming week.
Imperfectly, perfectly, we grow, step by step, we let the pain go. In this space, we heal, you know, it's all about the journey, not the show.